around the social medias.
Dang it.
And
this is the one thing about being a person who likes having tattoos but is not on Instagram. And Instagram doesn't let you look at Instagram without an account.
Yeah. That's how they get you.
Tattoo artists, well, not me, Jeff. They'll never catch me alive. Tattoo artists, as if you didn't have enough to do. If you can please just try to have a website presence.
Yeah. But
for those of us.
Oh, sure.
For whom Instagram is never going to catch us alive.
But some of them have like a roguish quality and they don't want a website, tying them down.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay, so welcome, folks, to A Little Too Quiet. It's the Ferndale Library Podcast, and it's brought to you by the Friends of the Ferndale Library. I am Jeff, joined as always by Mary Graham.
Hello, hello.
And it's one of our cool library people episodes.
I love this series.
It's been going on for a little while now. I guess it's been going on for like 3 months now. Every other week, we'll bring you someone from another library from around the state of Michigan.
And they're cool.
And they're pretty cool, but it turns out that they're all cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's not to like sort of discount the work I'm doing and reaching out and producing these episodes, but it doesn't take actually much discernment. You can kind of just walk into a library and to the next.
Oh, it's just cool people everywhere.
The next desk is going to be the cool person.
Yeah.
But I am finding some cool people, and that includes Storm Hawthorn, who's going to be talking to us from the East Lansing Public Library, which, spoiler alert, I reveal later in the episode, I temporarily worked at. So I really like that library. And Storm's been there for, turns out, 5 months, and coming from the Fowlerville Library. So we'll be talking all about that. This is a fun episode.
Very, very fun.
And we cover a lot of ground. Let's just get right into it.
Yeah, it's a time. Okay. It's a fun time to be at the mercy of the school schedule.
Storm, Mary Graham.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so let me be official and say that Storm Hawthorn is now joining us from the East Lansing Public Library. Hey, Storm.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Now, you just kind of started there at the East Lansing Public Library. What's going on? How's it going? How recently? Tell us everything.
Yes. Okay. So I have been over here at the East Lansing Public Library since the beginning of September. So I've been here for, what's that? I don't know.
Like 4 months?
Yeah, about 4 months, just a little over 4 months. So I'm feeling a bit more solidified here, but I am the Teen Services and Schools Liaison Librarian.
Nice.
It's kind of a long title. But yeah, so I'm the teen librarian over here now, which is really cool. So it's a bit of a different change slightly from what I used to do over when I was at Fowlerville. So I was the children's librarian there. So now I'm with teenagers now, which is a whole new beast.
And you're a liaison, which, Mary Graham, that's French, right?
Yeah.
Mary Graham, are you like a Francophile? Like, what's the story there?
Francophile,
right?
Meaning that I like them seems like a strong word. That's a joke.
But you like French.
I speak French,
okay.
And I read it more better than I do anything else.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I was like 2
French
classes in college away from a double major with English. So yes, no, I do like French very much as the language and as literature. And I have internet friends who are in France, and we bond over a mutual affection and disdain for the various foibles of Francophone culture.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Storm, no pressure. Any history with the language of France? Thoughts?
Actually, yes.
Yes, I had a feeling.
Yes, actually, yes. So I had to take a foreign language course for college, and I ended up taking 4 years of French. So
wahoo.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
We're
putting my French to good use, being a liaison now.
Yeah.
Is there a French equivalent of wahoo? Like, do they have like a cheers or a yay kind of a thing?
They do, but what you need to understand about me, Jeff, is that I am much more suited to talk in an academic setting about the Middle Ages
Oh, okay.
than I am about nearly anything else.
Sure.
Because my conversational French is very rusty.
Okay. All right.
But
From this tangent, I'm going to mix up a little bit
Okay.
our questionnaire and throw it over to Storm and ask how you got to libraries, how you got into library world. Like, was this a trajectory you were on? What else were you studying besides French? Like, what's your story that gets you to libraries?
Yeah. So, libraries, like, I wasn't like a toddler or like someone in elementary school that was like, I want to grow up and be a librarian. Like, that was not the vision at all. I was definitely like, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to go to Hollywood. I'm going to go to LA and New York. And so that's what I wanted to do. And I attended Lansing Community College, and I finished their studio theater program. And I kind of quickly realized that while I love theater, and I am still very actively involved in the Lansing theater community, it was definitely something that was more of a hobby rather than something I wanted as my career. Even though I absolutely love it, it was just something it was not going to be a stable career for me. Mm-hmm. And at the time, while I was going to school, I just happened to apply to be a library page over with the Capital Area District Library System. So I was doing that as my job. I was just like a 10-hour a week page position, like barely anything. And it was probably the first job that I ever had that I ended up actually enjoying. And then I ended up I was actually quit, and I was going to leave to do retail instead, but that ended up not working out. And I realized how much I missed being in the library, even for just like a week. And I remember going back to the library, and I went to the head librarian there, and I like begged for my job back. And I was like, please take me back. And that was like a big wake up call for me. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to just do this. I'm going to be a librarian. And so from there, I ended up working my way up and doing that. So I ended up eventually getting my master's in library and information sciences. But I know that I only had a associate's in theater at that point. So I went to MSU to just get a bachelor's in something that I didn't really care for. I was just, we'll just have fun, because my end goal is my MLIS. So at Michigan State is where I got my undergrad in creative writing, and that's where I took French for 4 years.
All right.
Excellent.
All right.
Yeah, that's the thing that and we'll get into things that people may not know about
Sure.
libraries and library workers, but I was in grad school with people with so many interesting undergraduate degrees, because even more so than law or medicine, although you can do both of those with a pretty interesting range of bachelor degrees as long as you pass your exams. Librarians come from every corner. Of one of my best friends in grad school had like a hard sciences degree because she wanted to be an academic librarian for sciences and science communication, and that's exactly what she's doing. And so, you know, I did the pretty traditional, I went for English literature and things like that, but so many people do go for theater. I mean, Jeff and I love talking about how many library people we know who are theater people. I would imagine, I don't have data for this, but that percentage gets even higher with youth librarians, especially.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, you have to be a performer pretty much.
basically, I mean, I always say that like nothing prepared me for story time better than 8 years of forensics in middle and high school.
Storm, thoughts? you
I
have
did
to
not expect you to say that.
It's true. So
That's amazing.
Yeah. And you know, Jeff was a backstage kid, and
I was the backstage manager.
Yeah.
I had a headset, and I pulled the curtain. It was
yeah,
great.
you do everything you do right now.
I had a clipboard. Oh yeah, I do everything I do right now.
I did 8 years of theater in middle and high school, and then when I went to Wayne State for undergrad, I worked for the theater department, and still have a bunch of friends who were very active in the local theater scene, and never left. So
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
which might answer one of the questions that we like to ask. I'm going to jump around again,
Yeah.
which is just, I guess, talk about what that experience has been like. Not so you told us about, okay, this is how I became a librarian. This is how I got the degree. But tell us about like getting into that job and maybe utilizing some of those talents from theater. Like, is that, or are there other things that you draw upon to, I don't know, make yourself like, I swear I haven't had enough coffee today, guys. This is our long way of saying, what do you love most about your job? What do you find most fulfilling about your job? And talk about Fowlerville, since you had a lot of history there too, but also talk about what you're getting into now. Yeah.
Sure. So I mean, kind of to bring back your kind of original part of that question is like, you know, like, what do I do? How do I use my talents in other areas in library work? And with theater, it's kind of incredible, like, how much I do use it. I mean, just even from like a public speaking standpoint, being able to talk to people and not freeze up, being able to improvise and go with the flow on things, because we're working with the public, we're working with the community. Right. Like, things happen. Technology's not going to work. You are going to get interrupted in the middle of a program, and you're going to have to figure out how to deal with it. Things like that. When I was at Fowlerville, I was the children's librarian, and so I did story times all the time. And that was something that definitely my theater degree came into play when I had to pretty much be a performer. I needed to make sure that I had all of their attention, things like that. And I'm actually starting to do some story times over here at East Lansing as well. And so that's been a huge part of it. Also, at Fowlerville, I did a lot of social media things. And so being able to be comfortable in front of a camera and understand how to create something visually appealing for people to interact with the library. It was something that I definitely drew on my theater degree for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And tell us more about East Lansing so far. I'll say that I also went to Michigan State, and for a brief period, I worked as a page there. So I was putting books away in your library. We won't even talk about.
This is a joke, but you cheated on us with the East Lansing Public Library when you were in college.
Yeah.
Mister, I've worked at Ferndale since I was legally allowed to work.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I dipped in and out of a couple of the libraries briefly. Uh-huh. Yeah. I guess they were.
You were on a break.
Yeah, they were. They were flings. They meant nothing to me.
Again, for legal purposes, this is a joke.
For legal purposes, this is a joke because I think East Lansing Public Library is a pretty cool library. Storm?
Yes, I think it's amazing. It's really cool. I've definitely been in a couple different library systems, and it's really interesting how every library system is completely different. And I think a lot of people group libraries as like the same thing, but they're really not. They're all very unique to their communities and the people that they serve. East Lansing has been great. I'm still trying to like get the feel for exactly everything going on around here, just because there's so much to libraries that I don't think people quite understand, like as far as like how policies work and how different procedures everywhere. So starting to get a better idea for that and everything. But East Lansing's amazing. It is such a community hub here. I feel like there's always people in the library. And we offer so much just space for people. Like our meeting rooms and our study rooms are always booked with things that either we're providing or that other people are coming in to provide for the community. So it's very community centered and it's very inclusive and very open and very welcoming, which is just amazing. So I've been loving being here.
Wonderful.
You mentioned some of the kind of policy things that people don't necessarily understand, and something that we always like to ask when we do these cool library people interviews is like, what's a popular misconception about libraries that you run into, whether that's with patrons or with annoying people you run into at cocktail parties? The misconception I always ran into at cocktail parties was, do people still use the library?
Mm-hmm.
To which I would say, yeah, I make exactly that face. Of course, this is an audio medium, but listener, Storm and I are both making like this like dead-eyed, like, why would you say that to me? Who raised you? Kind of face about like, oh, yeah, people do come into my place of work. I'm sorry, you're not cool enough to be one of them,
That's
I guess.
exactly right. You're just not cool enough.
Yeah, so but anyone can be cool enough. You can come at any time.
Yes.
You can change your ways.
Yes.
So what do you run into from time to time?
I mean, I think there's the biggest one, which is like, oh, you get to sit around and read all day type of thing. I mean, I think we've all heard that in so many different ways. I think at least to kind of piggybacking on that one, the one that's been coming up recently when I tell people, oh yes, I'm in a different library, I'm at East Lansing Library, and they go, oh, that's cool, I just don't read though. And which is like I mean, I'm not going to shame them for not reading, like, okay, cool, but it's also like, hey, like, we do have a lot of other things too, like you don't have to check out just books, we do have movies, we have streaming services, we have Library of Things, so go ahead and check out, you know, a ukulele or whatever, you know, we have programs, you know, do you want to learn how to play this ukulele, you know, we have a new program that we had started in the fall was ELPL rides, where people just got on their bikes and rode around town together. Like that was amazing. Yeah, we have like a birding club that is insanely popular. That's for all ages, where people get to like look out the window at birds and stuff. It's amazing. We have a huge maker studio where you can say, hey, I want this made with a 3D printer, and we'll just make it for you. Like, it's insane how many more things there are than just, oh yeah, I don't read, so I'm not going to use the library.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Kind of say to people like, yeah, but do you vibe? Do you like to vibe? Because the library is a place that you can go with no agenda and just hang. And we don't charge you money. And we don't say, hey, you have to buy a coffee to stay here another hour. And we usually have free water fountains, and there's a bathroom, and it's climate controlled. We have a nice little fireplace
Wi-Fi.
Here at Ferndale. We got Wi-Fi. You know, oh, I don't have a DVD player. Okay, but our computers do. Do you want a guest pass? You can watch that DVD on our computers that we have here that you can just log on to.
Yeah.
With the little headphones that we got.
Not to go off into another tangent where this podcast becomes sort of like a self-help podcast, but as someone who now currently has 9 other side hobbies, I think it should be appreciated that
he's not kidding, listener,
that reading should be treated as a hobby, and that requires a bit of a rewiring of your brain. And I hear you people out there, you're probably very busy and you have a job, but you are also probably using another 20 minutes of those days to be on your phone. If you just put the phone down.
No, you don't even have to put the phone down. You can get Libby on your phone.
Exactly. You just have to
use the phone.
You can use the
just
phone.
have to carve out that time.
Yeah. And I mean, truly, there are times when I find myself scrolling and I'm like, do I actually want to be scrolling, or do I just want to have my phone in my hand?
Yes.
And if I just want to have my phone in my hand, I can switch over to my library app and read something there before my cat bites my phone. My cat's taken against the phone because she's smarter than all of us. And so she'll see it in my hand, and she, instead of just rubbing her face on it, now will chomp until I put it down.
Lucy bites the phone?
Lucy bites the phone. She knows it's the evil flashlight that brings me bad news.
And then here's a quick side note. It turns out, although I have a cat and Storm has a dog, that cat and dog share a name. So they are both
Tilly?
Both named Tilly, yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, my dog's name is Tilly. I don't think I realized that your cat was named Tilly.
Then I just kept that as a secret. Here's the reveal. I have a cat named Tilly, so.
Oh my gosh, twinsies.
Yeah. Okay, wait, where were we? Yes.
Popular misconception. So come
reading.
to the library. Gosh, a birding club. That feels like something that would,
so cool.
Ferndale would love that,
We would
Jeff.
love that. We might steal it.
We probably should. This is the other reason that we are doing all of these interviews.
Yeah.
Oh, listener, you thought it was to introduce you to cool library people around the state. No, it was research for us the whole time.
What's also really cool is this is an opportunity, or at least to tell us more a bit of what that means to be a liaison to the schools, right, Storm? And what's that looking like lately?
Yeah, so it's honestly, it's a bit of a very slow process right now. I'm trying to work my way into the high school and do some things. So right now I do go over there once a month and host a graphic novel book club over there at the high school, which is pretty cool. So I've been doing that. I'm also starting to just get just have connections with like the NHS, so National Honor Society, that's over there, and key club members, which are part of Kiwanis. So lots of different clubs that are going on there. The high school over here at East Lansing, so many extracurricular things for kids to do. It's really impressive, honestly. So it's just me trying to figure out a way to partner and collaborate with these clubs and groups and things like that, and just making teens aware we are also a resource for them and we want to help them do whatever they want.
That's something that I find. So we kind of split school liaison stuff between us and the department, and I've got our middle school, which is fabulous. I run the Rainbow Club over there, which is basically a GSA. I was just over there on Monday, actually. And what we've found is that when you find you're in with like a teacher or an admin who's really excited about partnering with the library, everything can fall into place beautifully. But before, I currently kind of network with one of the English teachers and the social worker over at Ferndale Middle School, and they're both wonderful. But before we all kind of found each other, it's a lot of just kind of like poking people via email of like, hello. And a lot of times folks are like, oh, we'd love to partner with the library. And you're like, okay, hello.
Oh, yeah.
When can we meet to
Let's
talk
do it
about
then.
it? Let us do it. But I love school outreach is one of my absolute favorite parts of my job, and I spend so much of it plying young people with snacks, which is how I get them to come and listen to me, and I'm not above it. It works. One of them on Monday, one of my most regular GSA kids said, thank you for the snacks today. You picked a great spread. You brought a great spread. And I was like, I'm gonna like file an official report that a middle schooler was like, good choice of food. But I spend a lot of those meetings just telling them what's available again to them at the library, how they can get a library card without even having to come in, because the teachers who help me run it keep the applications at their desks. And we'll just fax, and no one faxes anything anymore. Well, actually you can fax from the library. That's a service we offer. But you know, they'll scan it and email it over to me. We'll mail the card to your house. I was even telling them, because it's Rainbow Club, right? Like, and some of them are not in the most supportive of families. And so, I'm talking about privacy rights and the ways that they can still get the materials that they want to get, and, the information they're entitled to have. And truly, oh my gosh, one of the most meaningful parts of my job. So school liaison, it's great.
School liaison. And again, Storm, that's probably like another thing where it's like, oh, I didn't know a library did that. I didn't know libraries got into schools, Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You said it's called the Rainbow Club? I love that so much. That's amazing. I love that. And no, because I definitely am in the part where I'm poking people right now, just because I'm so new. I feel that the high school's a bit hesitant just because they don't know me. And so it's been like 3-ish months of me being like, hey, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. So we're going to have to work together on some things, okay?
Yeah, well, and I'm still kind of poking. We have 2 high schools here in Ferndale, one of which is basically in the same building as the middle school. So I had middle schoolers who aged into high school at the end of last year who were like, well, are we going to see, what does the library do at the high school? And I was like, we're working on it, y'all. We're working. And it's the kind of thing where like every so often I go over there and my fabulous middle school teachers are like, I'm taking you downstairs to go poke a high school teacher, and I meet them and they're very enthusiastic, and then understandably they get very busy. They have a lot on their plate. But if you are a teacher at Ferndale High School and you are listening to this podcast, this is your sign. Email me, marygraham@fadl.org.
So Storm, this is a question that is sort of adjacent to misconceptions around libraries, but since you started working in libraries, did you have a library epiphany? Because I know this sounds simple, but when I started working in libraries long enough, I had that thought of like, oh, wait a minute. This place is just open all day, and it's open for everyone. It's not even just a place to check out books. And like a little light bulb went out for me. Have you had any like light bulb moments in your library career like that? Were you just...
Yeah, actually pretty early on. I was, it's very similar to yours. I remember, it sounds a bit silly now because we've gone past it, but there was like ebooks were just coming around, and everyone was like, yes, but what's going to happen to physical real books and everything? And they're like, oh, what libraries, bookstores, they're not going to exist anymore and things like that. And I had a conversation with somebody, and it was another librarian actually that I was having this conversation with. And he had asked me, he's like, so what do you think the future of libraries is going to be? And I kind of like thought about it, and I was like, I don't know. Like, there are ebooks that are coming out now. What's going to happen? And he said, I think libraries are eventually just going to become a community hub, and that's what they're going to be. They're just going to be kind of a one-stop shop for the community for a lot of different things, for a lot of social gatherings, amazing third space type of thing. And I was listening to him say this, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's incredible. Like, because I was just like, oh yeah, libraries aren't going to be around. And I'm like, oh no, libraries just evolve. That's what happens. Like, libraries just change and evolve for the community. Like, it's not that we stay stuck in this, like, century where it is only dusty old books. Like, we add things and we listen to what the community needs.
And I think, Jeff, with what you were saying about reading as a hobby, I mean, I think what you're saying, Storm, is completely true. And I also think that when you consider reading as a hobby that some people just like to do, it's like, yarn stores are never going to go away because since humans figured out how to spin wool into something that you can knit, like, people, the urge to create. Sure. And there are going to be some people for whom the urge to read is like, that's never going to go away. And something, because I remember around the same time with all the ebooks and stuff like that, and I was pretty young, but I remember pointing out to people, and I'm probably about 50-50 at this point between ebooks and paper, but I've always pointed out to people that the only software you need to read a paper book is your brain. You just have to be literate, and then all the software is up here. Right. Whereas, in order to read an ebook, I need my phone. I need a program on my phone to run it, or I need my e-reader or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. But it's, every so often, I think folks can work themselves into a panic over libraries, and kind of library epiphany I've had is like, whoa, I'm not worried about libraries becoming irrelevant, like, ever. In part because I don't think books are ever going to become irrelevant. I just don't. But also because we do so many things.
Also, we're just going to sustain. Right. Because it actually comes back around. Because you have two sides of the coin. People are like, oh man, I really miss Blockbuster. Oh, okay. Well, there's still a place in town with like 15 rows of movies that you can browse. You can get a Blockbuster experience, or you'll see people like on TikTok or whatever saying, oh man, it'd be so cool if there was like a Netflix, but for books. Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
We've been here.
Wouldn't it be cool?
We've always been here. So
it's called your local public library.
It comes back around to us.
Yeah, always. And it's fun. I get excited that I get to tell people that, like, it's easy to sound. I feel like we're, lightly and lovingly making fun right now, but I do like, again, with my middle schoolers, telling them about, hey, we talked a lot about like manga and anime yesterday, which I know almost nothing about. So they got to have the great experience of like educating the adult on something, which is important for them to have. But they were talking about like, but it's an expensive hobby. And I was like, y'all know we have so much manga for free. For free. And you can try it out and see if you like it. Yeah. And, and it's something that's what one of the most basic things about libraries is like, you can come borrow the book and it's free. This is mind-blowing to young people who are growing up in a world where you have to pay for everything.
Everything. I mean, even apps on their phone, like if they want to play a game, like it's like everything costs money. Yeah. Everything.
And so, even I'll see some of the small kids who come in here who are like, okay, it's time to go pay. And their grown-ups are like, we don't pay for anything here. Right. We're just going to go check it out. But this isn't paying.
Vibes for free.
Vibes for free.
Yeah.
Free vibes.
Free vibes. Oh, and on that note, oh wait, you were riffing on some great things happening at your library, the bird watching club, etc. Anything else that we left unsaid that you guys currently circulate. You know, library's an exciting place. You know, it's one of the only places where you have both a 3D printer and a fax machine. Whoa.
Yeah.
But
what's the thing that you're like, well, over at East Lansing, you can borrow this.
Tell us more things you're just jazzed about that library.
Oh my gosh. Okay. As far as like, we do have a Library of Things collection. I'm still not well versed in it, but I know we do like storytime kits. We do have storytime kits that circulate,
Cool.
And things like that. I do think that like our pride and joy is our maker studio. It is absolutely incredible because we have, I think, I'm not going to get this number right. Definitely more than 2. I feel like there's at least like 5 or 6 maybe, but I don't quote me on that. But we have like a row of 3D printers in there. So we have a lot of 3D printers. We have a Glowforge. We have a Cricut machine. I don't know. It's amazing. And I feel like our makerspace librarian, we have a librarian specifically for the maker studio. And he is constantly like taking orders for people and working with them to see, oh, hey, this is what we want to do. Which is amazing. And just some of the like creative things that people in the community have created is just so cool to see. So that's like our pride and joy. We do a lot of other programs here that I am just becoming accustomed to. There's like 3 really big days that happen, and actually our makerspace librarian is the one that does these programs. But we just did a huge Dinovember program. Like, this library is all about Dinovember. Like, it's a huge dinosaur program that just happened. And then Bug Day is coming up in March, and then Shark Day is in the summer. And so those are also like 3 huge events that happen.
And also
that like people look forward to.
3 subjects young children are obsessed with.
Yeah, those are
yes. I was gonna say they're all like very young children and like family friendly oriented programs, which is really great. Another thing that we do that I mean, at least me, that I specifically do is after school when the teens come, because a lot of the times I think libraries, their issue with teens is just getting them into the library in the first place. Mm-hmm. East Lansing is different. Because we're right next to the high school. So we get teens. We get between 50 and 80 teens after school every day.
Wow. We feel very lucky and happy when we get 15, just for listener context.
Yeah.
And we're maybe half a mile from one of the high schools, and now that we have this after school teen space, we see a lot more of them than we used to, which we are extremely happy about. But like 20 is our outside on a busy day. 50 to 80, that's wonderful.
It's amazing, but the trick is really just getting them interested in the library, because a lot of them are here not because they necessarily want to be. It's just because it's a place that they can go until they get picked up, which is great. I mean, that is something we can do for you. You can hang out here, but it's definitely also like, hey, I know you're just hanging out here, but like we could do some really cool stuff. Like, do you want to do this? Come do this program with us. Oh, hey, interact with some of our passive programming in the teen room, like cast your vote for this thing and, give us a book recommendation and take a look at our displays and things like that. So that's really cool. But we do get, like I said, like 50 to 80 every single day, which is insane. And so after school, I will help pass out after school snack. And so we do give them a snack after school. They come and they like show their student ID and they can pick a snack. So that's something that we provide for them every single day, which I think is really cool because we don't have to do that, but it's also just a way for us to like interact with them even and just say, hey, how's it going? How's your day? Do you think you did well in exams? Oh, yeah. Oof, that does sound rough. Okay, great. Well, take a snack. Have a good day. And even just that small interaction is a win for us, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I used to work at a library that had like a teen recommendation display where they could come and get like a little form from the teen desk and write down. Yeah. And it would go on a display. We should actually do that.
Let's do it.
That would be we got some folks that would make a great display. And
I literally just started that here. I did that last month. I was like, you know what would be really great?
Yeah.
I want a teen recommendation wall with twinkle lights. And so
twinkle lights. Jeff.
Yeah, so
We could do it.
twinkle lights.
Yes.
Yep, they're plug-in twinkle lights, and I strung them in front of a window, and then I've been actually very surprised. I didn't think I was gonna get very many interactions with it, but I think I've gotten 10 or 11 people and I'm print it off, and I just tape it up there, and I say, oh, recommended by blank, and I have a little QR code that people can scan so that they can find it in the library or if it's online. So
Great. That's amazing.
Really awesome.
Let's do that. We can do that.
Yeah.
To jump way back when we were talking about maker spaces and 3D printers, Storm used possibly what I consider to be personally the most fantastical phrase I've ever heard in my life, which is Glowforge. And if you tell me you have a Glowforge, I'm going to assume you have a wizard operating it. Can't even imagine what, I can see it in my head, and I don't actually want to see what a Glowforge looks like. I just want to imagine what that could be. Anyway, side note, that doesn't have to go anywhere. However, I'm curious because I haven't started following, confessing, I haven't started following East Lansing on social media yet. Are you getting into the mix over there too? Because you were really busy at Fowlerville.
Yeah, I was really busy at Fowlerville doing a lot of social media stuff. So over at East Lansing, there is a communications team leader, then chart marketing and everything like that. I think the is still that I'm I think the plan is still that I am going to help out a little bit just because I do have experience, and also just in relation to teens, being able to be on social media. I think I am going to help out with that. I have not started anything with our communications leader quite yet, but we have talked a couple times about oh, hey, we would love to do these types of things, which is great. But I think we're going to be mainly switching to Facebook and Instagram will be our...
Oh, is something happening? Is there news? I haven't heard anything.
Oh. Yes.
This episode's going to even be out after the 19th, so who even knows what the landscape looks like? So,
right.
For folks listening, TikTok's going to get banned. So, Mary Graham is not on.
Yeah, I was about to say, I do know what's going on as of 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But it was only until 2 days. It was only 2 days ago that I was like, what do you... And actually, because I do feel like I must be very pedantic about it, it's what's being banned. It's like prohibition.
Right.
It's not illegal to have alcohol that you bought before the ban came in, but you can't. So in this case, it's not a crime to have TikTok on your phone, but the app store is not going to have it anymore, assuming this goes through.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen.
We'll see. It's going to be a weird, wild time.
But my condolences to those of you who work in social media.
It's always chaos, right? We just roll with it.
Storm, I'm not on
being
any
able
social
to adapt
media,
and roll.
So, but even in my personal life. So being able to adapt and roll.
Being able to adapt and roll with it, and also be very creative, and also be very talented.
It's the yes and profession, I'm telling
Storm
you.
is. Yes.
Yeah. Improv.
Yeah.
Going back to theater, baby.
Yeah. We constantly joke that we are the five of us in the youth department plus Jeff, honorary youth department member, are an improv team masquerading as a library department.
Pretty much.
I literally have an enamel pin on my lanyard that says yes and, that was a gift exchange gift from a coworker.
Yeah.
And it's true. Yes and. That's how all of our best plans have come together. That's how all of our best ideas have gotten generated.
The yes and mentality is how I found myself taking a photo of an 8-inch tall 2-dimensional cardboard mouse in front of the Detroit Institute of Arts on library business.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I spent Monday yes-anding a future program idea with a coworker that is ultimately going to be an information literacy program, but only in the way that a dog's medicine is medicine wrapped in a piece of cheese, because what it's actually going to be is a a museum mystery with primary documents. Like it's gonna be a whole dang thing. And it was just me and a coworker going, oh, we could do this, and then we could do this, and then
and then it accelerates.
fake TikToks and old documents that we make up with tea.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Edges. And I feel like that's my thing that like I want people to know about libraries is that we're just all out here yes-anding each other.
Mm-hmm.
I've that was actually something that I was thinking about literally I think last week, because I think there is this idea that, oh yes, we're librarians, we went to library school, so we know all about books and accessing information and organizing information and everything like that. And then I just have so many times where I find myself and I'm at my desk and I'm painting a toy dinosaur. And I'm just like, I have a master's degree. Like, where's in front of them? Like, it's kind of insane so many times that I stop and I think, wow, I get paid to do this. And it is definitely nothing that was taught in library school.
I often find I have fairly fond memories of library school. I was also working in a children's department at the time, so I had a sense of oh, I get paid to do this. This is neat. But no, every so often we take our seasonal decorations very seriously in the Ferndale Youth Department. So every quarter or so, we're doing some kind of insane craft kind of thing so that we can deck the place out for whatever change of seasons is about to happen. And it's, me with I'm like buried in paper chain at my desk, and I'm like, the fine people of Ferndale,
of course,
have paid me to make this paper chain. Mm-hmm. And you know what? They love it. They come in and they're like, it looks great in here. We're so happy. And anyway, everybody, vote yes on your next millage.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can legally say that. But,
yeah, and I went to journalism school, and I find myself calling up local ice cream parlors, asking if they'll make a library-themed ice cream.
And then they do.
And whether or not I can make a pun for its title.
And then they let us.
So here we are. Storm, what a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on our little podcast.
Thank you so much. This has been great.
Who knew libraries make podcasts? They do.
We do. That's another thing we do.
Oh my gosh.
And then sometimes people stop you in the grocery store and say, hey, I love the podcast. A thing that has actually happened to me.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Storm, anything else on your mind that we left unsaid, or anything you're looking forward to, or anything at all? The floor is yours.
I would just want to quickly mention that I don't know if you guys have been on this email, but there was an email that went around to some libraries, a listserv for Michigan libraries, and it was somebody that was asking like, oh, what are things that are very non-traditional library that you've done, or like your undergrad or like activities? And we were kind of hit on a little bit of this earlier about like, oh yeah, like library people come from all different walks of life. Yeah. And it was just so fascinating to see all of like everything compiled. I think one of my favorites was like, oh, I used to be a funeral director and now I'm a librarian. And like, oh, I was like, it's insane the variety of different things. So I think that really just kind of goes to show like how much community is in libraries, that even the librarians are just people in the community.
Aw.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah. Storm, thank you so much.
Oh.
Hey,
before you go, part can be off the record, but is Angelo Moreno still at East Lansing? Tell him I said hi. We're conference buddies.
Oh, I will. I'll tell him you say hello.
Yeah. We should have him on the pod.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
He is cool library people.
What's the rest of your day look like, Storm?
Today, I actually get to breathe after this. I haven't been breathing at all today, which is cool. So yeah, after this, I get to probably do a walk around the library and actually like get some work done.
Nice.
Awesome. I've been rubbing my arm because I'm peeling off a temporary tattoo. So that's, if anyone's been wondering. I don't have.
Again, it's an audio medium.
Yeah, and it's like it's a real,
I was wondering, to be fair. I was like, oh, did Jeff get a new tattoo?
I have two over here, and then
he does have a couple permanent ones.
And I was using this fake one to like give myself a test. Like, do I want my next one there?
Yeah.
And it's just this really annoying, cheap. I thought it was going to be cool, glittery dolphin, and it just got real flaky.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm fine. It's just a tattoo. All right, Storm. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Great to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that was our chat with Storm Hawthorn from the East Lansing Public Library. Mary Graham, I thought that you two would really vibe because you're both theater kids. And I'm a theater kid. So.
Did really vibe. That was great. We're both theater kids. We both work with the youths.
You both speak French.
We both took French, both have English creative humanities degrees.
Sure.
Both
like libraries.
Well, yeah, gosh, I should hope so.
I should hope so.
I should really hope so. And I think both bring that kind of similar yes and very excited mentality to library work. God, I love my job.
Yeah. Storm was at Fowlerville and on social media, and I think that when you can see library people on social media with the energy that Storm has, it becomes really infectious. And I think that when you're at the library, you just want to match that energy.
Yeah.
But also having really cool people on your social media just makes libraries look cooler. And hopefully, my point being, this podcast has come close to achieving that for you, listener. We hopefully have shown you that libraries are cool. Anyway.
Yeah. And for the listener, I don't know exactly when this is coming out, but it's January of 2025.
Yeah.
And for the listener who may be sitting there wondering, gosh, I love my library so much and I just want to make sure nothing happens to it. This is your regularly scheduled encouragement to go into your library and talk to the people who work there and tell them how much you appreciate them. That always makes our day. And also, ask if there's anything we need, anything to help. Join your local friends group.
Sure.
That's always great.
Yeah.
It can be a real source of joy. Get involved.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
It could be as simple as getting your library card or renewing your library card.
Yeah.
But it's also sweet to come in and say hello.
Yeah. Check stuff out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've gone and done it. You've listened to another episode of A Little Too Quiet, and we thank you. We are the Ferndale Library Podcast, and we are brought to you by the Friends of the Ferndale Library. We also thank John Duffy for giving us music to open and close each episode. If you want to find more information about supporting this very podcast, visit ferndalefriends.org. Please also remember to, rate, review, and subscribe. If you leave us a positive review, we can find more listeners, and more listeners can find us. We will be back next week with more cool library stuff. Thanks for listening.